Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire.
After a wild Willow Springs event last week, which saw Eli Blake get his first win on the season in Lexington Motor Club's third in 5 races, we head back to the East Coast in Atlanta, Georgia, the first time since season number 3 for the John Deere 400. The first ever race was on May 19th of 2018, and now March 21st, 2024 is the 100th points race for the JBL Cup Series. And we are in for a good one. It is the John Deere 400 at Atlanta. What's up, everyone? It's the boy Minutes Racing 97, and it is time for the race that I have been looking forward to the most for the first 8 races of the season. It is the 100th race, 100 points race of the JBL Cup Series, and we are in for a good one. Of course, Atlanta will be the season finale in September as well, but this is only the Cup Series. No trucks out here this week. A Cup standalone event, and this is a big one. 100th race. Last week was race number 99, which saw Eli Blake get the race victory in dominating fashion, but today is 100, and for a big location, we have probably one of the bigger names in the community. We got Alex Graham up here on the booth, and Alex, welcome to Atlanta, and welcome to race 100.
Yeah, I mean, you've hit a milestone right here with the 100th race of the JBL Cup Series. You've been doing this for a long time now as well. And hey, you know what? With the way these ratings are playing out in your series, things are definitely going to get interesting as this season goes along. But we're going to have ourselves a great race here. This is a great racetrack here, the old Atlanta Motor Speedway, or should I say the middle Atlanta Motor Speedway, because this is the second of 3 iterations of this racetrack. Very excited to see how it all goes down. This is a perfect place to run the 100th race here in the JBL Cup Series just because of how great of a track this is. Excited to see how this one ends up shaking out. It's going to be a good one here today.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. When I thought of what the track should be for race 100, when I realized it, I knew we had to do a second race at Atlanta, because the racing that we will see here today, y'all are in for a treat. Before we dive too deep into the 100th race and all the stats about it, let's quickly go over the points for the first 5 races. Who it has been a dominating performance from a couple of drivers up to this point. Joe Witkowski has a 3-point advantage on the points lead, with Local Millions in second, 147 for Witkowski and 144 for Local Millions. Ace Garcia with a strong start back in the Cup Series is third in points, 16 points behind. Brian Beal is in fourth, 28 points behind. Skylar Taylor with 2 good ones in a row. They are 5th in the points, 30 points behind. Trey Bell is in 6th, 31 points behind. 7th is Bradley Ream, 36 points behind. 8th is Noah Clifton, 38 points behind. Wyatt Walker is in 9th, 40 points back, I should say. And then Jordan Edwards is in 10th, 41 points behind. And if things ended today with the chase, even though we are still 11 races to go, it will be Eli Blake and Josh Manson in the Season 5 chase. That's how the points shake up so far through the first 5 races. But Alex, we are not caring about the points here today. It is all about who will get the 100th win in the JBL Cup Series at Atlanta. You said it's a great track for the 100th race, and with what this I is, we will see a lot of multi-group racing with 2 pit stops. What do you think we will see for race number 6 on the season?
Well, I haven't really seen how this I is going to play out quite yet, so I'm intrigued to see what we do in fact end up seeing. But I've heard we've got some pretty good tire fall off here at this Atlanta Motor Speedway, and with that, it's going to really shake things up in terms of who runs well and who doesn't, because if you can take care of your tires early on in the run, later on in the run, you're definitely going to have a lot more speed, and whoever does that the best is going to have the advantage here today in this John Deere 400.
Yeah, without doubt, Tyler will be a massive factor. About 2, maybe 2+ seconds of tire fall off. It's definitely the old Atlanta before the most recent repave, and it's going to be a blast here in this one. And on the pole is the defending champion, Derek Hamill, how fitting. He gets, I believe, his first pole on the season, and alongside him, in the number 4 is Brandon Beal, who wants to get his second win of 5 that he wants to get this season. In row number 2 is Jordan Stout in the number 21, and Logan Williams second in the point standings in the 4th position. Row number 3, we have the number 99 of Noah Clifton and the 34 of John Andrews. In row number 4, we have Justin Lydell and Wyatt Walker, and rounding out the top 10 is Ryan Dwight and BB Ruiz. And we know it's only the 5th race and the points don't really matter, but you might see someone back there who's still slowly 5th, and that's Joe Witkowski. Not a good qualifying foot, and it's going to be interesting of how he can work his way up through the field. We will get these draws one off for the 100th time in the JBL Cup Series. And here are some quick milestones here in the JBL Cup Series. The first ever race winner was the C1 champion of Patrick Smith, won the C1 Daytona 500. Patrick Smith also won the 25th race. Brett Sear won the 50th race. And the local guy John Andrews won the 75th race last season in season number 4. It's going to be a wild one here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Who do you think will write their name into the history books and get race win number 100 in the JBL Cup Series?
And it's really hard to tell, obviously. You're still very early on in the season with the ratings and everything, but you know what? I'm going to go ahead and pick one of my guys. I'm going to pick Justin Zaidel to win this race, and you know what? Justin's the kind of guy who wins these big special events. He won the Christmas Eve Showdown on our channel back in December. This is the kind of race that Justin would be able to pull off, and he's in a great position to do so in that 38 machine. I hope my guy gets it done here today at Atlanta.
Not a bad pick. Zaidel definitely doing a lot better than John Andrews in the point standings so far. But here we go, the race I've been looking forward to all season long so far. We had a banger 500, banger Auto Club, and every race has been a banger so far. But it all comes down to the race I've been looking forward to the most. Taylor Campbell, Brandon Beal will lead us to the green. Happy 100 race for the JBL Cup Series, and we are going fly racing for the John Deere. For we are back at Atlanta. It will be the defending Season 4 champion, Dale Campbell, leading the first lap of the 100th race of the JBL Cup Series. And these tires, they will be fairly worn out by lap 28 to lap 30, but they are going to be good for the first 10 laps. So, and that's when you really want to get as many positions as possible. As here comes the 99 of Noah Clifton to the inside of Jordan Stout, and you can always see these drivers trying to search around at this 1.5 mile worn out surface.
Yeah, I mean, already these guys seem to be going considerably slower than I remember them going here. But, you know, this is a very unique racetrack, and especially when these guys get worn out with their tires, they're going to be all over the place. You already see back in there, they're 3 wide, the 14 machine up there. And, you know, it's going to get interesting as this race goes along, because that 47 of Derek Campbell, we know he's a fast driver. But will there be anyone who's able to catch him once we get spread out here today at the Atlanta Motor Speedway? That's going to be the big question.
Might have to wait and see. Always seeing a couple of drivers who's been fast this season moving their way up towards the front, like those 2011 racing cars, Crampton and Matthew Burnett battle the race lead. No Clifton the inside of Dale Campbell, and he's going to easily make the pass on Hamill and Clifton to the point. One thing I would like to mention is kind of like the old Atlanta in every aspect, where 3 and 4 is all different lanes, but a lot of times the outside lane is where you want to be in 1 and 2. But it's not impossible to get the inside lane to do it like what Clifton did. And 3 and 4 is about equal with the inside lane and outside lane. Jordan Stout. Oh boy, Crampton might make it 3 wide for second. Oh man, I tell you guys, this is going to be a fantastic one here. And Stout trying to get this inside lane to work. Crampton trying that extreme outside lane, not really going to work out in 3 and 4. But no, Clifton loves the race, so he's behind him.
You know, I'm already liking what I'm seeing right here. These guys going 3 and 4 wide. I'm really sliding through these corners. I missed the run here, but you know what? Glad you got it brought back here in the JBL Cup Series and such a great race for the 100th event. You got the 21 here on the inside lane. That's Jordan Stout trying to make some moves there. 23 right behind him there of Matthew Hubert, who's been having a great season over in the Wawa Cup Series. But Derek Hamill definitely still a solid driver here in this race in that 47 machine. We'll have to see what he does as this thing moves along. And you also got Travis Crampton kind of in the middle of all that. We can thank him for this I&I here. So, of course, he's going to be doing well here today. And up to that third position there in that 45 machine.
Yeah, without a doubt, if it was not for Travis Crampton, I would not be winning Atlanta at bat. So huge props for Travis for making a great I&I and finally a great one for both 2311 racing cars. Crampton might get to the inside of Hamlin here in Andrew Miller. Last time he was on a true mile and a half at Homestead, he was up front, and he's up front once again. How about Eli Bright? This Lexington Motor Club team has been bad fast all season. It's either one car or Riddle Springs was the first race where both cars were up front. Looks like it might be Eli Bright once again this 42. Trying to go 2 in a row here in the Cup Series, and it might be able to get the job done here, but still Clifton out front. Crampton trying to get to the inside for second.
I also like Travis in this race. I think he's going to have a good opportunity of possibly getting a race victory. Got the 16 of Andrew Miller up here as well. A couple of really good friends of ours here. You know, it'd be fitting for one of them to get this 100th race win, obviously. But Derek Campbell there in that 47 starting to close back in on Noah Clifton for this top position. You got the 42 up there as well. To see how it all ends up shaking out here. Eli Bright, who actually won our last race. You know, those Legacy Motor Club guys have done an excellent job so far here in the JBL Cup Series. They won 3 of 5 so far, so they definitely got a lot of speed, and no surprise to see Eli run up front here.
Oh, I think someone just got into the wall back there, and that's the number 17 Logan Williams. Don't know if he put himself in the wall or if he got put into the wall. You guys will see that in the corner of the screen. But tough play for Logan Williams, who was ahead of Joe Witkowski. But now, Witkowski is ahead of Williams again for the point lead. And for a second, here comes Crampton to the inside of Hamill. And now this is where Tyler's going to really start to take a fat to here. 10, 11 laps in. And oh yeah, it's all the way about half a second to fall off. And that's just the start of it. Going to be 2, maybe 2.5 seconds to Tyler fall off. He got Atlanta Crampton up to second, and now Bright trying to take third away from Hamill. And I would like to mention we got a lot of experience up on right now, as Hamill's going to go way wide. We got Crampton has been in every season, Bright has done every season, Clifton has done 4 out of 5 seasons. Ryan Deloney is only in his second season, but then you got Andrew Miller, who's in his 4th season as well, so a lot of experience up front, and Crampton is gonna maybe take the race lead. Oh my goodness.
This is the Atlanta I'm used to seeing, where they kind of just fan out off that second dog leg right there going into turn 1. And I think we're definitely seeing certain drivers get advantages right now, and one of those guys is the 45 of Travis Crampton. Eli Bright as well, also looking really quick, and you can't count out Andrew Miller on the 16. You know, those guys have definitely moved their way through the field very well so far. You know, interestingly enough, we still essentially got a pack race going on here, even though we got these tires falling off. But I think at some point we'll start to see these guys spread out a little bit here.
Yeah, it's very interesting so far. 3 wide back there, Hamill getting to the inside of Deloney. A lot of great racing so far here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Crampton out front, Clifton in second for now, but Eli Bright really wants the second place spot. And Legacy Motor Club, they just have something that the rest of the field doesn't right now. At least one of the 2 cars are inside the top 5. And today it might be Eli Bright, but here comes Andrew Miller, 3 wide for second. How about Owen Miles moves up front as Hamill's almost going to get into Clifton in the middle of 1 and 2. That was almost tight. Miller trying to take second away from Bright, and how about Owen Miles in this number 1 machine?
Yeah, and the 2 Trackhouse cars doing really good here today. Both in the top 5, and Owen Miles working his way through the field. You got my guy still up there as well in the top 10 for Front Row Motorsports. Hasn't been the best of starts for us with John Andrews and Justin Zaidel, but you know what? we've got a good run going here, and hopefully they can get something to go their way here today in this 100th race. Definitely hoping to get an owner's win. You know, as someone who runs a rating series, you know, I think I know what I'm doing when it comes to those owners' ratings. Hopefully they know what they're doing in terms of the driver ratings as well. But Andrew Miller, he's doing good. Taking the race away there from Travis Crampton, and Eli Bright still up here as well. I'd watch out for that 42 as this race goes along. Last week's winner may get another one here.
And seeing a lot of drivers that ran well at Homestead up front here again. Like Andrew Miller, who got second. Both Trackhouse cars won running inside the top 10, top 15, always on Homestead until they took each other out. So a great one for those two drivers again. Crampton 20 whipped that outside lane, gonna keep second for now. About 13 laps away from the first cycle of pit stops here in the 100th race of the JBL Cup Series. And Miller has been in 4 seasons out front, but what a 1 and 2 from Crampton, running a lane higher than Miller. And we might have a battle for the race lead yet again here at Atlanta.
These two guys are definitely two of the fastest cars out here. And the way this is looking, we may end up getting a green flag cycle of pit stop. So, you know, if they start to pull away a little bit from the field, they're going to have a bit of an advantage coming down the pit lane right here and getting that advantage on the rest of the field. And they have a little bit more room to maybe make a mistake if that does happen, which is difficult to come on and off the pit lane here at Atlanta. You got a lot of speed coming off of turn number 4 right there, and then exiting the pit lane. Lots of times we see these guys even wreck coming off the apron right there onto the racetrack. So they've got to be very careful on this first cycle. But like you said, about a 30-lap fuel cycle here. So if it does stay green, we're going to have 2 cycles. And you know what? That last cycle, if it stays green, is going to be right near the end of the race. So this could get interesting if this thing stays green.
Yeah, it's about 28 to 30 laps on fuel, and if this thing stays green, and then, oh boy, they will probably have to pit with 5 laps to go, and it will be interesting if they decide to take tires and fuel, or just take a splash and gamble. Right now, Crampton and Miller are starting to pull away from the field, and I think Crampton still wants to get past this number 16, does not want to stay behind them, and now the tires are really taking into effect. They already were, but they are really taking it into effect now. I lost single file, and oh yeah, it's up to over a second now of fall off, and almost a 30-second lap time now from these drivers. And now this is where Tyler will really take into a factor. And a couple drivers I would like to give shout outs to. This 5 of Rez had a great top 5-1 going at Willow Springs last week, and once again just outside the top 10. Dylan Matthews, a great one for the number 11. Great one from Nathan Hernandez. I think we have a battle for the race lead, and we do. Crampton to the inside of Andrew Miller, and he's going to stick it to the inside lane, and Miller's actually going to get one off, so Miller's going to keep it in that Celsius number 16.
And now we're definitely starting to see those tires come into effect. I mean, look at this. They're single file throughout this entire field. And we did not see that earlier on, but you know what? They all kind of just stay right with each other here. It's going to be very interesting to see if anyone ends up pulling away here at any point. And Andrew Miller might be trying to do that, but right now they're kind of just all in a line, kind of waiting for the cycle to get some fresh tires. And if you come down before some of these other guys, you might get a couple laps advantage, but the only downside is you're going to be a lot slower later on the run, and that might not necessarily be what you want to see. But this is interesting. I've never seen it like this here before at Atlanta, at least in NR2003 on this version of Atlanta. I know sometimes we see this type of racing on the new Super Speedway version, but you know what? I like what I'm seeing right here. These guys still trying to make moves back through the field. There you got Owen Miles there on his teammate Noah Clifton for 4th.
Trying to get that inside lane to work, and I think what we are noticing is that it's a little bit harder to pass on the inside lane now that tires are falling off, and 1 and 2 that outside lane is really good until you get out into the gray stuff, which I don't think too many cars have yet. But if you get that high, then it will not work out that well. But how about John Andrews? Last in the points thing is unfortunately trying to get to the inside of Wine, and all these guys are still trying to find what's out best for their race car. As even though the single file, they are going all over the place. Crampton ran a little bit higher in 1 and 2, and running all the way down onto the yellow line, and might have a 1 for the race lead here on lap number 26.
I haven't seen these guys really be able to make passes yet. at least in this configuration, when they've been single file, so they've kind of had some difficulties doing so, and that's a good advantage for Andrew Miller and Travis Crampton right now, at least on the rest of the field, that they really can't have anyone get around them. But, you know, it's going to be interesting to see once we get to the cycle of pit stops, because they're going to be back again to fresh tires, and they're going to be making moves like crazy. So once we get down to the end of these runs, that's when it's hard to make these passes, as we have seen so far here. And it's going to be interesting to see how it all ends up shaking out near the end of the race, because they're going to be, if this thing stays green, coming down the pit lane right near the end.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Should see pit stops next time by if things go according to plan. Trackhouse teammates still side by side. Almost gonna get past that number 99, and it's gonna be interesting of how these strategy lanes will really work out. Because if you pit early, you might be able to get out ahead, but with the tire wear, I don't know if you want to pit early. It's kind of like how the old Atlanta was. The longer you stay out, the better you will be. Quick tire check, and yeah, it's about a second and a half or so, so not quite as much as I expected in testing. It was about 2 seconds to fall off, so not as bad. Crampton's going to pit on that number 28, and looks like he's going to be one of very few on lap 28.
And Crampton, I would expect him to actually take the race lead once this cycle is done, because with how slow these guys are now going with the worn tires, that 45 is going to have a bit of an advantage on the rest of these guys who are staying out. And imagine most of these guys can come down right here.
See, Andrew Miller is going to pit on lap 29. Andrews is going to stay out. Hernandez is going to stay out. And a bunch of cars, like you said, are going to pit this time by. A handful are staying out again, like the 51 and the 12. And a couple others, but the majority of the field is on pit road. Crampton's going to beat out the 21 of Jordan Stout. And now here we go. What's going to happen here? Amanda Miller is technically the race leader on pit road. And I assume it will be 4 tires. But this is a narrow pit road. Have to be careful at seeing a pit stall, as he has the rest of the field of John Andrews, Kennington, Beal, Hernandez. Miller will win the race off pit road. If this group does Crampton off turn 4, and I think it's gonna be that number 45. Might have to watch out for this though. This is a little bit of a trouble spot, but they're gonna settle it back down. Crampton's gonna be the race leader, like you said, and Trey Butler went it all the way down on the apron on pit road. That's it. And there's the third
Always
group.
makes me nervous when they're coming off the pit lane like this. Especially here, because I've seen so many times where they've been double wide coming off the pit lane, and they stay double wide, and then they just spin each other out on the apron. I'd watch out for those 2 cars back there. 19, and I think that's the 6.
These two are going to be fine. And then the 7 and the 51, Ace Garcia and William Block, they're going to be good. So we are good. Going to have a, oh my goodness, Justin Zidane almost into Dale Camel right there. We are going to be good for the first round of pit cycles, and you were dead on Travis Crampton. With the undercut will be the race leader, but he's going to have 1 or 2 laps older tires. Miller in second. How about Jordan Stout? He pitted with Crampton, and he's going to be in third. Clifton is going to be in fourth. Dwani in fifth. Sixth is Eli Bright. Seventh is John Andrews. Eighth is Matthew Hubert. And then a battle for ninth between Hamill and Zidell. Those cars are both 9th and 10th. Hernandez in 11th. Oh, Miles dropped back to outside the top 10. How about Jordan Edwards? The second car made some moves inside the top 15. Warren Kennington in the 19. Josh Vincent, BP Ruiz dropped back. Beal dropped back. And a bunch of Hendrick cars in the middle of the field. I'll show what Kowsley doing as there's the 10-time winner of Juan Garcia really whipping it in 1 and 2. There's 17 of local Miller Scott into the wall earlier. He's in 23rd. Joe Kowski, the point leader, is all the way back in 27th. So the lanes might be into effect early on, but it's still tight enough where it can still change. And this has been these guys really want to make these passes on these fresh tires, and that's what this 99 of Noah Clifton's going to do. Battle the Dwinks here, Power and Celsius for third. Going to take it, and we might have battle for the race lead. Here comes Jordan Stout out of nowhere, trying to challenge for, this McDonald's Toyota of Crampton.
Good run for this 21. Kind of, he was up front earlier on in this race, but a great cycle for him, and now he's going to cycle to the race lead here in this 21 machine. You know, I'm intrigued to see what Crampton ends up doing. I don't think the strategy overall is going to work out too well for him. But then again, too, you know, if we stay green, that last cycle is going to be right near the end of the race. You know, he might be able to get the advantage if he comes down earlier on and gets that advantage on those tires for those last 5 laps. If he decides to take tires on those last 5 laps, that's going to be the big question. Will they end up taking tires on those last 5 laps, or at the end of the race, I should say, or will they go fuel only, try to get the track position? Because with that cycle going to be right near the end of the race, things can get really, really interesting for these guys.
Yeah, that's the number one question that we have at the moment is, for that last pit stop with 5 to 7 laps to go, what do they do? Tires only? Well, obviously not tires only, they wouldn't make it on fuel, but fuel only? Or would they decide to take tires and fuel? That, I honestly don't know. Because if you take fuel only, you might win the race, but if everyone behind you takes tires, then they could have enough time to catch up with how bad the tire is. So that's going to be very, very interesting. Clifton out front for Team Trackhouse in the number 99. Stout in second. Miller in third. Durrani in fourth. And Crampton is now in fifth. How about Ryan Durrani? Showhouse Racing has been very strong this season. Normally with Beal and Trey Barlow, but Ryan Durrani's having a solid one for Showhouse here today. Trying to take that 4th position away from Andrew Miller now, here in 3 and 4. And he might be able to get it here. Miller trying to get the outside lane to work. Pretty even in 3 and 4. Durrani's going to have to send it here in 3 and in 1 and 2, I should say, if he wants this 3rd spot.
I'm impressed with how clean these guys have been. I mean, I'm glad they have been. But, you know, great racing here, and these guys haven't really gotten into each other too much, which is great to see. You know, I'd like caution-free races, you know, especially on tracks like this where they do, in fact, just race it out and the best drivers go up to the front. And I think that's what we're seeing right now with some of these guys trying to get a race victory here in this 100th race.
Yeah, without doubt. It's going to be very interesting what ends up happening. Still a long way to go. 26 laps to go. In theory, if they want to pit now, they could, but I don't think they will. Something might have happened to Bradley Lehman, the number 22, as he is the last caller on track, and he's not that far away from potentially only a lap down, unfortunately, for that Team Penske machine. Zachary Fitzwater, he's not having a good day, in 35th. And there's the A of Aaron Abel having a tough one. And then the rest of these guys, oh man, Team Penske, 2 out of the 3 cars not having a good one as well here today, and that's unfortunate. As of now, we still have every driver that started this race on track. No one has blown an engine yet. And how about Eli Blight, John Andrews? They are starting to catch up with the top 5 as these guys are racing really, really hard. And Jordan Stout, I think he wants this race lead back on Noah Clifton.
And these guys know they have to race it out now because once the tires wear out, they're not really going to be able to make passes on each other. So they want to be in the race lead once that last cycle begins, because that's a very crucial spot to be in to possibly win this race. And Jordan Stout's going to try for it here. That 14 machine also doing a great job there. Ryan Durrani. Good opportunity for Ryan to get some revenge here at Atlanta, I feel like. If you know, you know. Andrew Miller, though, also strong. You know, Crampton falling back just a little bit, and this is, I think, a product of him coming down a lap before these guys. Those tires are slightly more worn than those guys ahead of him, and I think that's hurting him a little bit at this point of the race.
Yeah, that is a very valid point. Crampton pitted on lap 28, a lap or 2 earlier than the rest of these guys, and might be falling off a little bit, but at the same time, Jordan Stout pitted on the same lap with Crampton, and he's out front, so I don't know if this 21 counteracted with a change on the pit stop, like the wedge adjustment or something, to maybe go a little bit longer this one, but he is looking really strong, and I'm not too surprised. This 21 team with Jordan Stout last season when it was equal lanes, was one of the 2 or 3 best colors all season long, and it took the 21 team a little bit with the reins to get up front, but Jordan Stout's trying to get his first win on the season. Dwayne trying to take second away from Clifton, and we have 7 colors, make that 8 colors, all within, 7 colors within a second of each other, and the Matthew Hubert is in 8th. How about Ronald Kennington at 9th in the number 19 Truckers Racing? Has struggled to start off the season, but Skylar Taylor has gone a couple of good ones as of late, and now Ronald Kennington is inside the top 10. And unfortunately for Lil Pitt of Justin Zidell, he's outside the top 10, around the top 15. So not looking good for him to get the race win here today. But he still have the 34 out front. Speaking up front, it's still getting really racy. Dwayne really trying to take the second spot away from Noah Clifton, and might have to watch out for Eli Blight as well. 7 cars under a blanket. It's not a pack race, but it's definitely a little bit more of a cycle. Well, not really a cycle, it's just a bunch of cars are bunched up, and these are definitely the best cars here today at Atlanta. Dwayne in second with less than 20 laps to go in the 100th race of the JBL Cup Series. Clean and green so far, but fantastic race up towards the front.
Yeah, and I feel like one of these guys is going to get the race victory. And, how about John Andrews in that 34 machine? I really didn't notice he was up there, but great to see my guy have a solid run here today. And you know what? I'm proud of him. I want to see one of my guys get a win. Especially, it would be cool to win the 100th race as an owner here in the JBL Cup Series. So we'll have to see if that ends up being the case. But, Eli Bright's a strong driver. He's going to be good. But how about Jordan Stout? That 21 right now at least seems to be one of the faster cars here, and he's been able to keep these guys behind him here as these tires have worn out.
Yeah, without doubt. Like you said, John Andrews, it would be cool to see him get the 100th win. I believe he won the 75th career win, or the 75th points paying win, so he's trying to get the 100th. And as far as you've been in this series for pretty much every season in any way, shape, or form. Either it's been in last season, which was O'Neal, or of course this season as a team owner. So it would be cool to see technically a 5-season veteran, I guess you could say, get a race victory as a team owner. But Dwayne really trying with this outside lane, trying to keep the 3rd position from Noah Clifton. And here we go again, same story, different first. Here we go, Eli Bright to the front, trying to take the race lead from Jordan Stout. Lexington Club 3 wins in the first 5 races. Wachowski with 2, Eli Bright with 1. Last week at Willow Springs, and trying to get his second back-to-back. And I don't know what Lexington Club has, but I'm sure every team wants to know what they have, and Eli Bright just easily get past that number 21.
Yeah, and he did so pretty late into the run as well, so that 42, definitely a quick car. And he's actually pulling away a little bit there for Jordan Stout as we speak right here. But how about this 34 machine making a move on Noah Clifton? They're still getting racy back in there, but I think we're starting to see these guys single file out a little bit like we saw before the first cycle of pit stops. And, this is the order that they go down the pit lane, and whoever goes in first may end up getting the race victory, but it just depends on if they take tires or not. We might see some guys go fuel only to just get right back out there and maybe beat those guys who take tires. It's going to get very, very interesting, but considering it's about a 2-second fall off here at Atlanta, you definitely want to get those tires and get those 2 seconds, because 2 seconds, less than 2 seconds, as a matter of fact, only 1 second separates this top 7 right now, so you definitely want to make sure you get the advantage if you can. But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a strategy race, no doubt about it, if this thing stays green. Yeah,
without doubt. I'm kind of surprised that we've not had a caution yet, because normally of how it all works, if you have a long green flag, someone, some way has a mechanical issue. I don't want that to happen. I'm just saying of what normally happens within all. That's not happened yet. 52 laps in. Now I'm at 53. 13 laps to go in the 100th points race of the JBL Cup Series for the John Deere 400. Is Bright, Stout, Dwayne, and John Andrews the top 4. Crampton back up to 5th, and at number 45. And might have to watch out for John Andrews here. Got past Noah Clifton for 4th, and trying to get past Dwayne for 3rd. Gonna really send it in and run the 2, and he's gonna power his way up to 3rd.
These guys are definitely finding some advantages when they can. I think that 42 and that 34 are two of the fastest cars right now if they're able to make the passes at this point. But hey, we're about 6 laps away from this last cycle of pit stops beginning. Actually, maybe even less than that. And it's where things are going to get interesting. How about John Deere's going for second again? That 34 finding some speed late in the going. And you know what? That 34 may have a shot at possibly getting this race victory.
The 34 won the Powerway crash to kick off the season, but ever since then, every point span race has not been good for the 34 team. Might as well make the most of it with a good one here in the 100th race, and race 6 on the season. A great 3 and 4 from Jordan Stout. This has been a pretty good race, not quite as wild as I saw in testing, but it's still been pretty solid. Fantastic race in 3 different lanes being shown for the top 3. John Andrews might get into the gray stuff a little bit, almost contact with Ryan Durrani. Battle for third going on back there, and I bet these crew chiefs are very loud on the radio, trying to get these drivers input, trying to figure out when to pit, and it's getting down to crunch time. 9 laps to go at the line, with a last second pit stop coming up in 4 to 5 laps.
Yeah, and one of these 7 guys is going to get it done because they've got 5 seconds on the rest of the field right now. So it's going to be who ends up pulling the right strategy here on pit lane, who ends up getting this race victory, and that's going to be the big question. It's just who is it going to be? We await those pit stops. That's really what's going to determine it here at Atlanta.
Oh yeah, without doubt. Well, I'd like to give a shout out to Logan Williams. He got into the wall early on, and he's up to 13th in his number 17. And how about Lukowski? So 35th, he's up to 15th, so plus 20 positions. It's been able to, if you have a fast car, you've been able to pass you today. And both of those cars, top in the point standings, they've had a rough day, but they are both inside the top 15 late. And oh boy, here we go. A little bit earlier than I thought. Jordan Stout's going to pit right now on lap 58.
And the big question is, will he take 4 tires? Will he take 2 tires? Will he go fuel only? Because that's going to determine it right here, so we'll have to see if this 24 does anything like that. Justin Seidel also coming in back in there. Of course, the 21's got the best advantage right now. We'll have to see what he does right here. I feel like it's long enough where you do want to take the tires, but he's going fuel only right here. That's going to be interesting. That's going to be very interesting. So we'll have to see if some of these guys behind him end up going with tires and try to get some advantage, because that may not necessarily win him the race, because lane right here.
Oh boy, I didn't know what these guys would do late, but apparently they're going fuel only. They are risking it on tires for 5 more laps, and I think that's what everyone's gonna do. What's Eli Blight gonna do here in the 42? And yeah, it's gonna be fuel only. So it looks like everyone's just gonna stick it out on these tires from lap 28 to 30. And try to make it 35 laps on these old tires. That's going to be very close. And, oh boy, let's see. Jordan Stout in number 21. The 9 is not...
ways behind there.
Yeah, there's the 9. Well, there's the 21. Jordan Stout. But that is not pitted yet in the number 9. I think he's one of a very few. Eli Blight's going to be out ahead of this 21. Dale Camel is now in. John Andrews is going to leave pit road. It might be close with Eli Blight and John Andrews here. Oh boy.
I kind of have a feeling going fuel only, considering everyone went fuel only. I think the guys who come in later may have the advantage. They don't have to put as much fuel in the tank. Oh, this is going to be close here. This is going to be close. I think John's going to be able to clear him here.
He's going to get ahead. Eli Blight's going to lift the top to try to build up the momentum. And it's going to be John Andrews by that much ahead of Eli Blight, trying to steal it here at Atlanta. There's the number 9 of Burnett. So he's not... I think he might get a solid result out of it, but he's not going to get the race win. And now here we go. Who has the fastest car? Eli Blight or John Andrews? It might be Eli Blight. Blight trying to get a 2nd win in a row, and Lexington Club trying to get the 4th win, trying to peek down to the inside.
And this right here is where you would love to have tires, but because these guys are worn out the way they are, it's going to be very hard for Eli Blight to make the move there.
Yeah, it's about 35 plus laps on these old tires. I'm kind of surprised they didn't take tires, but it's too late. These guys have made the bed, and John Andrews and for Funnel Motorsports still team a bad start to the season points racing wise. Andrews won the 75th. He's trying to get the 100th win in the JBL Cup Series, and two laps away from doing that. But Eli Blight trying to get the job done. Ford, it's been Ford and Chevy this season. Toyota still not to get a race victory. Looks like that's not going to be the case here today. But 1.5 laps to go about, and Andrews is starting to pull away from Eli Blight.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good for my man John Andrews right here. I'm liking what I'm seeing right here. Be in the booth, get a win as an owner. That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
even the dog's excited.
The dogs are very excited. And off of the final corner, 1 lap to go in a caution-free 100 points race in the JBL Cup Series. It might have been caution-free, but boy has it been some fantastic racing. Andrews really pulling away from Eli Blight. Looks like it's not going to be a 4 out of 6 start to the season for Legacy Motor Club. And yeah, these guys are doing 3 seconds almost to fall off, but off of turns 3 and 4, John Andrews won the 75th career JBL Cup Series win, and off of turn number 4, John Andrews will win the John Deere 400 and will win the 100th JBL Cup Series points paying victory at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Yeah, I'm excited too. That's awesome. It's awesome to see John Andrews finally get it done and finally get a win this season. It's kind of the first of many for us here this year. But yeah, that was a good race for John Andrews there, and he played the strategy very well. Came down later than everybody else there at the end when they all went fuel only, and that's what gave him the advantage. And he's got the win. John Andrews gets it done here in the John Deere 400.
His second win on the season, won the Power Clash, gets his first points-paying victory here at Atlanta, and you know, I believe he's last in points out of the full-timers with how his season has started, but that's a great way to maybe kick off some summer bad luck for that 34 team. Andrews with the race victory, steals it late. Eli Blight in second, Andy Miller in third, Jordan Stout in fourth, Ryan DeWine in fifth, Crampton with a good one in sixth, Burnett in seventh, Ronald Kennington in eighth, Clifton in ninth, and Dale Campbell in 10th from the pole to 10th for that number 47 team. Tough play from Matthew Hubert though. He was running inside the top 10 all day long, and he's going to get 11th. Seidel in 12th. How about Joe Lukowski though? From 35th to 13th. Fantastic one from that from that 43 of Legacy Motor Club. And if only he didn't have a bad qualifying result, what could have been for that 43 machine. Owen Miles with a good one, and 14th was inside the top 5 at one point. Local Millions, after getting into the wall early on, bounced back to 15th spot. And it was a 3-point advantage for Witkowski. I think going into Richmond the next week, it would be a 5-point advantage for Witkowski, being 2 positions ahead of the Local Millions. So those two are going back and forth and duking out for the early season points lead. Skylar Taylor with another good one, top 20 for that number 20 machine. Josh Winston in 17th, Sus Ryan in 18th, Juan Garcia in 19th, and Jordan Anders rounds out the top 20. And running up the rest of the field, oh, we did have a mechanical issue late. See, I said it. Anthony Hernandez unfortunately blew a header very late on that. I don't know what that, but very late where it didn't bring out a caution. Tough play for that machine. Was inside the top 15 all day, and unfortunately gonna finish 36. And there's the rest of the results right there, and a caution-free race, but a fantastic one. Multi-group racing, and saw some strategy late, but John Andrews gets the job done. Also, we're gonna be excited about that announced. But what's the thoughts after a caution-free 100th JBL Cup Series points race?
Definitely a fun one, no doubt about it, and great to see my guy John Andrews get the race victory. You know, that was a good way to have the 100th race. It wasn't goofy, you know. Obviously, we saw, you know, if you saw the Wawa Cup Series the other day, you know, you know what goofy is. But this was a nice normal race, and hey, you know what, my team pulled out some good finishes right there, and you know what? Yeah, I feel like it's going to be the first of many for us. Great to finally get a owner win here in the JBL Cup Series, and great to see John Deere get it done here at Atlanta. What a good way to do number 100 here in the JBL Cup Series.
Yeah, without doubt, not anything goofy like you said, not a Atlanta big one, not any lap traffic getting in the way, just a pure race to the end with some strategy, and John Deere gets the race victory. And now that we got this one out of the way, I think the real season and the real focus towards the championship will start with 2 races in a row before we have a little week off for the Cup Series. Next week we go short track racing at Richmond. That can go 1 of 2 ways. And then after that, the first time since I believe season 2, we are back at Rockingham. So 2 unique racetracks for the next couple of weeks, and then these Cup guys will get a mid-season, regular season off week here for these guys, and gonna be interesting of how this all plays out. The focus now on the championship. 6 races down, 10 to go in the regular season, and it's getting good in the JBL Cup Series. A great one, a great race for the 100th race of the JBL Cup Series, and who knows, maybe we'll get to 200 one day. But congratulations to you, Alex, and John Anders for getting the race victory. He got the 75th win, and now he gets the 100th win in the JBL Cup Series. And coming up next are the points, the Rookie of the Year points, and the team points after race 6. And until Richmond Raceway next week here on the channel, we will see you guys then. Bye!